Interesting. Family trees. Who's the one that died here? Tarting, Brute. Sang Jung. I'm gonna forget how things pronounced. Their mother are unknown. He lived for 70 years though, right? He lived for 70 years. Jiangsu. Their mother lived for 69 years. She lived for 40 years? Wow, that's short. Hugh... She lived for 40 years? 42 years? That's sad. These guys aren't living for so long. Pale Bride? Who is that? Han. Han only lived for 18 years? That's sad. Han? So... Wait a minute. It's Young-suk's father. They had 2 children. Does that mean that they had 2 children, or this is wrong? No, I think they had a single child, and she's Han married into him. She's 18. She died. Oh, okay. They all died at 322. That means they haven't died for natural causes. They died because of I think there's something terrible that happened this year, probably when the ship's vital functions are vital, what do you call it? Vital support? Vital support function has been disabled, or something went wrong with it? So this guy died young, huh? Only 6 years. Only 6 years? Oh, what's that? He gave birth? What does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean he gave birth to her, or did they marry into each other? And I don't think that means they married. I think the link here that means that he gave birth to her or something. What? Am I missing something here? Probably the other page will explain. Kim Jung-soo, Hyun Min-jung, married. Okay. Kim Yoon-mai, Park Kang-dae, married 312. Kim Sun-hai, Oh Nam-kyu, married 316. The Pale Bride, Captain Ryu In-hoo, married 321. Oh, just 1 year before the tragedy. Or supposedly there's a tragedy about to happen. Kim Young-suk and Han... unknown, last name. Official genealogies don't list women normally. Wives are noted by their family names, and daughters are omitted entirely. What? You know, in family, actually, in family history, that's actually common. When someone draws a family history or a family tree, the usual thing is when you list the tree, you don't list the daughters, because usually is the baby the daughter carries. It doesn't belong to her. It belongs to the father. Like the baby will hold the father's family name. So that's why they usually the women are omitted from family trees. That's the reason that is, because you will never see a family history, a family tree that actually lists women. They will list all of the sons, even if they don't give birth to anyone. Like assuming that the kid dies young, or he doesn't marry or have any sort of children. That's the case with most family trees. And daughters are omitted entirely. These are the relevant parts of what I was able to piece together from records. As far as the official genealogy is concerned, Jung Suk is the heir of Jung Soo and was adopted in 317. Adopted children do not get listed in the family tree, by the way. Names in red are women, means the name is forever unknown. Okay. So that they actually listed the family, huh? Here the first thing, the first letter is the family, and the second is her name. Interesting. Let's talk to Hyun. So here's the background. I suppose there were two major noble families on the Muganghwa. The Kims were the big one, as I'm sure you can see. The Smiths were the other major family, but I'm afraid I can't really tell you very much about them. They were the most important family on the ship until just before the end. The High Magistrate was a Smith until the very last year, even. Okay. I can give you a little bit about them for reference so you can see who the Kim men thought their big enemy was. The Smiths didn't really matter very much at the end, so I can't. Well, I don't know much about them. I certainly never met any of them, so I'm just going off what I've read. Here, this should give you an idea of what I mean. This button is glowing. No, she's grayed out. Alright. Oh, hello? She didn't give me anything new. Or maybe she gave me something new in the form of a document or in the form of new message. Actually, I was just testing that indicator icon to see if it gets your attention. I just thought it'd be a good way of letting you know when I have something to say. I mean, like, if I think it's super important, I can always just interrupt you. But I don't want to distract you if I can help it. I mean, that'd suck, right? What kind of computer program forces herself into you right in the middle of you trying to work? Ah, I see, you and you haven't had the pleasure of installing Windows 10 on your system. Hell, not even installing, just connecting your Windows system with the time frame of the Windows 10 release. Yeah, so I'll try not to do that. Oh, please don't be a Windows 10. So apparently Hyunai was coded by Microsoft. Shit. Anyway, that's all. I guess it worked. Carry on, and let's set the indicator again if I want to tell you something. Cool beans. Maybe I should. This is how I should follow the messages, by pressing this. Okay. So that was 9:18. By the way, we actually. I'm not from the U.S. I actually know that this is supposedly the first number is supposedly the month, and this is the day. But where I'm from, the first number here indicates the day, not the month. So I noticed. Living in a country that doesn't have an 18-month year for its calendar. I wonder if there's like the Chinese has like how many months in the Chinese years. How many months in the Chinese year? Contempt. Oh, Su-Jin. Despite having hardly shown their faces in the entire time I have lived in the Smith house, the second branch of the family has taken it upon themselves to visit again. A week after we were forced to endure their smug eye-rolling at the funeral. Of course, it would be impolite to turn them all away to the door, no matter how poor taste their timing was, so what other choice did we have but to let them in? Husband wanted to have nothing to do with them being distracted by Jangmi. By Changmi. And mother-in-law had been hiding in her room, leaving it to me to entertain them. Ew. Of course, as soon as I had sent their son to go see our daughter, cousin-in-law Kyung-sam made it quite clear that it was not that sort of visit. His wife just sat there, silent, while he ripped into me. Ripped into you? What does that mean? I couldn't write down all his words. It was simply one line of abuse after another. Okay. Why was that for? Apparently, we were to be blamed for Sang-kyu leaving before they showed up, for wearing the wrong morning garb. From my husband's shocked reaction at his brother's death. In fact, we were to be blamed for his death itself. All he kept shouting about was how embarrassing for the family it was that a noble man of the Smith house had been allowed to drink himself to death. As if the real tragedy was that it looked bad. I might not have felt bad about Sang-chung dying, but the rest of the family did. So wait a minute, this is kind of stupid. Why don't you just write the ch as a ch in the letter? Just write it like that. I mean, I can understand the way you can write the E-O. These are or maybe the double O. I mean, you can write the double O, but you can write the P, the K, the T, the ch. Dice. Dice. As if the real tragedy was that it looked bad. I might not have felt bad about Sung Jung dying, but the rest of the family did. To hear such words making light of their loss was appalling. Yet he kept going, shouting awful thing after awful thing, until finally the most unexpected thing happened. The mother-in-law entered the room. "What's going on here?" she asked. He stood up. "I was just passing on a message to Son's wife about his disgraceful conduct, since he won't show his face himself." Then he added, "I am embarrassed to be a Smith right now." "Do you think people don't know about our family's shame? Do you have any idea how much of a fool I look like?" I never saw a more terrifying expression in someone's face. She just glared at him. Finally, she said, "Yes, but you clearly do not, or you would have lowered your voice." It took him a moment for that to register. Then he was just shocked, but mother-in-law wasn't done. "Please leave," she said. "Now." They stared at each other for a good while. Mother-in-law naturally won. And with a scowl, Kyung Sam and his family departed. When they had left, I turned to her. "Thank you," I said. But she just shook her head in disgust and exited to her own room without another word. Did this update? I don't think that updated. No matter. Let's show the message to Hyunai. Sorry, I don't really think there's anything else about them you'd find relevant. Okay. It's still not clear for me, by the way, viewers. I don't know, I'm gonna try and read all of this like this, and hopefully can comprehend something. By example, Smith Kyung Sam. 4th of October, I believe. Year 315. I have given up on any attempts to at convincing the main branch family to get their act together, as clearly speaking reason to any of that pack of idiots is a fool's errand. Now I can only hope that their self-destruction is quick, such that when it's my son's turn to pick up the pieces of the Smith's name's reputation, he will be able to do it as soon as possible. What kind of tobacco are they into? It must be like a Korean culture related thing. I mean, it probably is. And for the record, viewers, I have no idea. I have no knowledge about Korean culture. I just know Annyeong is like hello or something, and cupcake is hopcake. I play Tekken and I watch high-level Korean play and commentary sometimes. And Koreans are very good in Tekken. Koreans are they're probably the best in that game. I have given up on any attempts at convincing the main branch family to get their act together, as clearly speaking reason to any of that pack of idiots is a fool's errand. Now I can only hope that their self-destruction is quick, such that when it's my son's turn... Yeah, I read all of that. He will be able to do it as soon as possible. Okay, let's start with this new paragraph. He seems far less worried about it than I am. Of course, he is only a child, but the boy is mature for his years, and perhaps there is wisdom in his calmness. All we have to do is be better than them, right? He asked me while I was in a rage about the handling of the funeral. Isn't that what gentlemen do? Lead by example? He's right, of course. As a noble family, we are supposed to be an example to the middle classes. Oh, goddamn class. They are classified. Goddamn. She has nothing to say here, huh? And the commoners and the slaves. What? There's slavery in space? Damn. Perhaps so too must be served as an example to the family of the High Magistrate and his brother. Slavery in space? That's dangerous. You cannot do that. You're not safe in space. You can't enforce slavery in space. That's just dangerous. Like, not talking about how it's beneficial or not, you mean. Like how slavery are like free labors. In that context, I know slavery is horrible, but for people that think that slavery are okay, I mean, they will weigh the fact that slavery is dangerous, because if the slaves, when they had enough, they can wreak havoc into the spaceship, and do something horrible. Slavery in space? Wow. Perhaps so too must we serve as an example to the family of the High Magistrate and his brother. Perhaps things will not be so doomed for my son after all. It will be hard for him, of course, if the main branch family continues on this path of decay. But if any boy will grow up to be able to put things right, I believe it is him. She has nothing to say, huh? Here comes the fall. Smith Kyung Sam, January 12th, year 322. This is the year that everyone was doomed, huh? Here comes the fall. At least nobody's going to say I didn't see this coming. News that Sang-min has gotten sacked just came in, which is definitely the death of any respectability in this family. Temporarily leave has been described as, but it's obviously a political move on the part of the Emperor. There's an Emperor in that spaceship? I think I've got a pretty good idea of what he's playing at too. He's hoping that making a move against Sang-min will push him over the edge, make him do something indefensibly stupid, and use that as an excuse to shovel him off for good. It's a good plan. It'll work. Meanwhile, the Kim family. Sorry about that. The Kim family seems to be up on the rise, getting ready to fill the gaps left by our collapse. Now it's all up to my son. If he's not able to rebuild after all of this, then the whole family is doomed to permanent decline. Everything rides on him. What the hell is happening there? We've exhausted all these line of dialogues. Okay, let's go ahead and read about this. Start with this. Nothing interesting and new here, huh? Let's try and talk to her. Just if you look near interface, once upon document, blah blah blah. Yeah, this is gonna be it. The same. All right. Dear Smith, by asterisks, mute.